Hi, this is Steve with Locking Security Mailbox, and today I'm going to show you how to put in an in-ground post. Now, looking at this post, as you can see, it's quite tall, and no, our postal carriers aren't giants, but most of this post is going to go down into the ground, and we're going to put some concrete around it. Now, we do not sell these large wood posts like this at our store. Most of the posts we have are either 2x2" steel or 2x4" steel posts that go on the ground. But because my wife wanted this particular kind of post, I'm putting it in and I'm going to show you how to do it. So you can buy any of these type of posts at your local hardware stores. Usually they range anywhere from $20 to $40. We actually painted this one with some outdoor paint. And so we're going to show you how to measure back the right distance and how to dig the hole, mix the concrete, put it in so you can install your own in-ground post. First thing you're going to want to do is get a general idea of where you want your mailbox to go. And really, to be safe, you might want to consult your local postmaster general, and he can help you out, even give you some instructions on paper on where exactly you want to go. Most of our posts come with instructions, but it's always safe to talk to your postal carrier and just get a good idea of what you can and can't do. As for how far back you want to be, typical curb is about 8 inches. So you're going to measure back from the front of the curb back about 8 inches, and then you're going to go back another 8 inches. So for a total of about 16 inches is where you want the front of your mailbox to be. Okay, this isn't where your post is going to be. This is going to be where the front of your mailbox is going to be. And this is going to give your postal carrier enough room with his mirror and everything to come up through here and not hit his mirror on the front of your mailbox. And then from that spot, you're going to want to measure back to wherever the back of your mailbox is or where your post is going to be. And for my here, my mailbox is going to be, I need to go back about another 24 inches to the back part of my post. So you're going to have to do a little bit of figuring just to get an idea of how far back and where you need to dig the hole. So I'm going back to 16 inches where the front of my mailbox is, and then I'm going back the distance of the length of my mailbox plus the 4 inches of the post, which gives me 24 total inches. So I get that area marked. I have an idea of where I want it. I mark that with here. You can see a little bit of dirt right here. This is where I'm going to be digging my hole for my mailbox post. All right, now that we're ready to dig our hole, we know exactly where we want to go. We're going to start digging. And I'm using, as you can see, kind of a slender shovel here. I don't want to make a giant hole, but really I want to do at least twice the size of whatever my post is. So my post is 4x4, so I'm at least going to be digging an 8x8 inch hole. And we're going to have to go pretty deep because from street level, where the postal carrier is going to drop the mail into needs to be around 42 to as much as 46 inches. And I'm going to actually go to the lower end of that. I want where the postal carrier is going to drop my mail in to be about 42 inches. And again, that's from the street level, not from the ground level where you're actually standing, because my street level drops down a few more inches. And the reason you want that hole bigger is because you're going to be pouring some concrete down inside there, and you want enough area for that concrete to accumulate. Something to think about before you get too carried away with your digging is you want to make sure you're not digging in an area where you've got your water pipe, your sewer pipe, or any electrical, cable TV. So you might want to give a call to your local utility company. Make sure that there's no kind of communication lines or sewer or water, anything going on in the area where you're digging. Because there's a good chance you're going to have to dig down fairly deep. For instance, I'm going to have to dig down probably a good 27 or so inches. So, you know, that's a pretty good distance. And it's very easily you could have some cables or water supply or sewer or anything right here in this general area. So keep that in mind. And you really would be handy if you had a post hole digger. Now, I don't personally have a post hole digger. I just have the persistency to keep on digging with this slender shovel here. Makes it a little more difficult. Hi, as you can see, we've got our hole dug here, and with my assistant, we're going to put in a little bit of rock. Now, with a steel post, it's not going to be as important, but because I'm doing a wood post, I want it to be able to drain properly. So I'm going to put probably a good 3 or so inches of rock down inside there to help with the drainage. Okay, we're setting our post down inside. We've got the gravel down inside there. You may think this looks a little low, but remember our mailbox is going to be sitting on top here. And the particular mailbox I'm using is about 12 inches tall. And remember, we want where the mail goes into to be about 42 inches from the ground being the surface that your postal carrier is going to be driving on. You can go as high as 46, but 42 is about where you want, so that that postal carrier can easily drop the mail into your slot. All right, the next thing we're going to do is make sure that it's plumb. And you probably see that there's some bracing here. So what I did is I simply drove a couple of stakes, one to the side and one to the back. And then I just ran a wood down the side at an angle, and I put a level up to it to make sure it's plumb. And then once I spotted that it was plumb, I nailed it. Then I went to the back, I did the same thing. And that's going to make sure not only that it's plumb, but it holds it in place, in the right place, as you pour your concrete into it. One thing you might keep in mind is, say you don't have a wood post and you can't nail into it. That's easy to do. You still use the wood bracing and the wood stakes, but instead of nailing it into your post, you can use some electrical tape or some duct tape or some twine. Probably duct tape would be your best bet, and that'll hold that securely in place as you pour your concrete. Okay, we're back. We just mixed up some concrete, and for our purposes, we're actually going to use wet concrete. Now, what do I mean by wet concrete? There are several different ways you can do this. I've worked with different contractors, and with a simple job like that, you can easily just pour your dry powder, say your 80-pound bag of concrete, down into the hole, and then just maybe put a few gallons of water in there and call it good. But I actually like to use the wet concrete, so I poured in about 80-pound bag of concrete in the wheelbarrow and mixed in the water according to the instructions, mixed it up real good, and now we're going to begin shoveling in the concrete into the hole. Okay, we've added our concrete, we've cleaned up all our tools, washed up our wheelbarrow. Now we want to make, before it starts to really dry on us, we want to make one more check, make sure it's nice and plumb. And just grab our little level here, we check it on the back, on the side, and we're good. So here you are, we've set up our mailbox, we put it in, dug the hole, poured the concrete, made sure it's all plumb, and you're all set. The next thing we're going to have to do is attach the mailbox, but you're really going to want to set it, let the concrete set, I'd say a good 48 hours before you take your bracing away and before you set your mailbox on top.